So, what's going on, guys? It's Jack and welcome back. So, the topic of today's video is going to be kind of a little bit of a conspiracy. However, through many different videos and the past Call of Duties as well as the current Call of Duty, there seems to be, at least to some degree, evidence to suggest otherwise. Or, at worst case scenario, it is enough of an interesting video to make you think. Now, first of all, obviously the big question is Call of Duty rigged? And has Call of Duty been rigged? Now, in subtle ways, over the last, I don't know, let's say 5, 6, 7 years, the developers have implemented things into their games in the past that have either protected noobs or catered to people that only pay for microtransaction to give them better chances of obtaining those microtransactions, like Black Ops 3, and I'm going to go over my personal experience with that, even though I never bought a single thing, but I am a level 1000 on Xbox, so more in depth in that one when we get into the gameplay commentary. And I am going to discuss a couple things, actually. Number one, I'm going to discuss something that Blame Truth mentioned in his video, and as well as the prestigious key tweet where he is talking about as soon as he bought something from the Battle Pass in Modern Warfare, the next thing you know, he was getting easy as hell lobbies right afterwards. So, with everything that's been going on with Call of Duty over the last 7 years or so, I mean, if they have an algorithm, a skill-based matchmaking algorithm, if they've implemented things like spawn protection, if they had added maps to give noobs safe places to hide or whatnot, you know, and all these different things, I mean, if you think about it, why can't they do what we're about to discuss in this video? And quite frankly, I mean, this might not be new. Some of you guys might think I'm crazy or this is a conspiracy, but we're gonna get into this a little bit more in depth. As always, uncircumcised, unedited, uncut, and unfiltered. Oh, and by the way, I hope you guys like my face because I shaved. So Gillette is a little overrated. There's another thing called Jack's Razors. I actually don't pay a damn thing because it's simply out of my own imagination, my own creation. So I'll be streaming later, and I'm going to look just as good as I do here. So I hope you guys like it. But anyway, all the links for that will be in the description below. So let's get into the gameplay commentary without further ado. Alright guys, so the term pay to win isn't really new with the Call of Duty franchise, really. In some way, shape, or form, there seems to always be some sort of way that it's implemented into the game. And, you know, when I get in more in depth in terms of the specifics of this video, it really doesn't surprise me that it would be taken to this sort of level. So let's get down to the prestigious key tweet that happened, I don't know, a few days ago or whatnot. And basically he mentioned, long story short, he mentioned that he was always getting sweaty lobbies with the skill-based matchmaking, yada, 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 all that good stuff, right? And then as soon as he bought something from the Battle Pass, all of a sudden, those lobbies ended up becoming potato lobbies. In other words, it was easy as fuck. I mean, in other words, like, you could get in front of somebody, shoot them, and they would have a hard time shooting back. Like, it was people that were, like, literally just learning how to use a controller for the first time. Like, we're talking the people that have no video game experience whatsoever, and all of a sudden they're put in lobbies against you or whatnot. So, I mean, in some way, shape, or form, I guess this could kind of explain the connection inconsistency, which leads me to part of what Blame Truth mentioned in his video. Like, he basically had video evidence of, like, him shooting, like, an entire clip into somebody's face while standing right in front of them with, you know, like, the whole clip, I'm not even exaggerating, at their face, and then all of a sudden, wham bam, they just look at him and just fire one shot and he's dead. I mean, shoot first, die first is not really a new thing in Call of Duty. I mean, Call of Duty has always had its connection inconsistencies here and there, hit detection inconsistencies, all that kind of stuff. But with some Call of Duties more than others, despite the fact that they're more recent than the older Call of Duties, it's like sometimes it's just really exaggerated in terms of the amount of inconsistencies that we get. Like, you would think that we would get better over time with this, or that Infinity Ward, you know, would always be the ones that have the best hit detection. And before Modern Warfare, they did. But again, when you start implementing the skill-based matchmaking algorithm, the way the matchmaking works in general, now that there's crossplay, and among other things into the game, that could really fuck with it. And if you don't have a team that's ready to handle that or knows what they're doing in order to handle that, that's going to cause some serious fucking problems. But here is my personal experience with Black Ops 3, right? Okay, so as I mentioned in the beginning of the video, I'm a level 1000 on Xbox in Black Ops 3. Okay, so, and I actually spent a lot more time to get there because I didn't play Dom. I played a little bit of Kill Confirmed here and there. I played a little bit of Dom, but nothing, like I played like maybe 10 games at the most. Kill Confirmed, a little bit more, maybe 100 games, but for the most part, it was free-for-all and team deathmatch. So, getting to level 1000, playing those game types takes a hell of a lot longer, but I still made it there. And I participated in every single contract, the weapon bribe contracts, whatever the hell they were called. And yeah, so I participated in all that, and it is my second most played Call of Duty next to Black Ops 2. So it's pretty safe to say that I should have every single weapon with the amount of time I've invested into the game, right? Nope, wrong. As a matter of fact, here is where the interesting conspiracy comes in. So I never bought, I was tempted at one point or another, especially when they started releasing especially when they started releasing weapons that were pay to win. You know, like for instance, the XMC till this day, even though it's been nerfed, it's still like going on head to head with that gun, you're just not going to win. You know, if I were to face myself in a gunfight, for instance, my clone, right? And my clone had the XMC and I was using, let's say, the CUDA, and we got in a fair gunfight, the XMC would always win. The only way I would beat my clone in a fair-to-fair gunfight, when we both fire at the same time, we both have the same accuracy and all that kind of good stuff, the only way I would win is if the controller slipped out of his hands, or if all of a sudden, like, he fucked up with his aim, or I caught him off guard in some way, shape, or form. Other than that, if it's a 100% fair gunfight, it just isn't going to happen. The XMC is going to beat me every single time. It's a strong weapon. So after like so much grinding, I was actually tempted to buy some COD points in order to have a chance to get them, because grinding for rare supply drops in that game is a pain in the ass. But here comes the interesting part of this, right? So as I was unlocking more and more, unlocking more and more weapons as time went on, especially towards the end before they started releasing even newer weapons, right? I was like ready to, so ready to get a new weapon because I had gotten so many of the other weapons that I didn't want. Guess what? There were new weapons that they ended up implementing, like a new shotgun, which was the Olympia, and like, let's say, a new sniper rifle. I think it was the Intervention or something like that, or the DSR or some shit like that. So yeah, I don't think it was the Intervention. Intervention is an Infinity Ward sniper rifle, if I'm not mistaken. But it was the DSR, I believe. So, and those two weapons were just released. And then guess what? Out of all the weapons that I could have gotten, I ended up unlocking those two as my last two. In terms of the weapons that I wanted, I'm basically an AR SMG user, right? So I don't use shotguns. I mean, I know they're very powerful, especially in Black Ops 3 or even in this game, fucking salvo. But the thing is, I just don't like to use shotguns. I don't have as much fun. I don't like to use snipers, so it's just not my thing. I'm an AR SMG player. So I think I have this conspiracy theory that it was an algorithm implemented to where if you are a player, especially if you're a good player that uses mainly ARs and SMGs, you are less likely to get those weapons out of rare supply drops because those are weapons you use the most. So, but why would this be implemented? Well, two reasons that I could think of off the top of my head. Number one, get you to purchase COD points so that way you'd have another go at it instead of grinding your ass off for the game for like 10 hours at a time and only be able to open 3 rare supply drops. And the other reason why I think they would do it is, again, to protect noobs. Again, those weapons, it's no secret that those weapons are pay to win. So if noobs or players that are not as good have a higher percentage of getting those weapons, all of a sudden they're given a tool against the better players. An unfair tool, mind you, but hey, a tool nonetheless, right? So, and the thing is, another thing is that I know I have people on my friends list that have actually grinded the game, and a few of them have actually gotten to level 1000, and on multiple consoles as well, unless I'm mistaken, that mention that they have all the weapons. They're not, respectfully speaking, I'm not dissing or anything like that, but they're not as good as I am, but they have every single weapon. Now, there is still a chance, even with this wild conspiracy theory, that this could totally be 100% by chance. But if there's a skill-based matchmaking algorithm, and if there's a design philosophy in the game to protect bad players, in whatever form it's implemented over the Call of Duties over the last 7 years, right? Then don't you think that that it's not really a long shot for something like this to be a thing? So, so with Call of Duty being rigged, I mean, it really makes all the sense in the world if it were to be rigged. I mean, why not? So they don't care. You know, the thing is, I personally think we should get,
a truly balanced lobby like we used to, like let's say back in Black Ops 1 or whatnot, I mean, we pay $60 for that shit. Okay, so that should be a part of the package. So again, through DLC, through pay to win, through battle passes, whatever the hell you want to call it, whatever flavor, they always try to find a way to get money out of us. Again, like it's been mentioned before by other YouTubers, Activision is very clever, and the developers themselves are very clever. These guys can play dumb all they want, they could play stupid. I mean, they might be incompetent in terms of when they try to patch something, but at the same time, like in the past, if you look at what Infinity Ward has done with previous Call of Duties, like with this one here, they did nothing but try to appease the audience the correct way, but they were ignored. So there's another kind of side conspiracy in my mind to where, hey, maybe Infinity Ward is doing this shit on purpose because they have maybe the lead designer has a personal vendetta against the Call of Duty community when he tried to do the right thing and he was completely dissed and ignored by us, and now he's got his payback and the game is going to continue to suck with Modern Warfare because this is payback and this is personal. Now that is extremely far-fetched. That's probably not true, but again, an interesting conspiracy nonetheless. So, but in short, when you put every single thing together, doesn't it make sense? I mean, seriously. And again, when money comes into play, I mean, greed, guys, let's not forget, greed has no boundaries. And greed has been known to be so powerful that it can corrupt even the most mentally toughest people. Like, they could be the most loyal, the most mentally toughest people, but greed or the necessity to have that money for whatever reason, whether it's for good intentions or not, is powerful enough to corrupt everybody. I mean, look at the rich people we've had and have throughout our history that continue to try to grind to get more money and just don't slow down and don't live. I mean, it's like they're trying to die with having the most amount of money in their bank account when they pass away. It's like, what the fuck? So, but again, this is just my theory. These are just my opinions. So I want you guys to let me know down in the comment section, what do you think? And have you experienced something similar to my experience with Black Ops 3 specifically, or even in any Call of Duty in any way, shape, or form? Let it be known down in the comment section. Let your experiences be known down below. I'm really curious to know. And as always, thank you very much for the support, guys, in these last few videos and the continued support that you give me. Thank you very much. And as always, if you enjoyed this video, let me know. And if you didn't, let me know what I could do to make my videos better. Hopefully, I'll see you guys on stream. I'll catch you guys on the next one.